Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
Fun fact, one of the biggest things I'm scared of is snakes.
Snakes.
They are they are awful. I had an incident with them when I was a little kid, actually. I was down at Semaphore Beach and I was probably like 3 years old and we were playing on the sand and this brown snake came from under the jetty and sort of like circled my legs and sort of went up one of my legs a little bit.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
And then my family friend Deirdre, who was looking after me at the time, picked me up and dragged me off the beach, much like she dragged my mum out of the pier on Saturday.
I mean, that is a rough babysitting gig, isn't it? That's the thing you'd hope for to happen the least, you know, an attack from a wild animal.
Literally. But, I mean, it seems to be this particular month. I mean, we're in the thick of summer, but I've seen a bunch of news articles coming up about snakes. There was one, you know, a few days ago, that Queensland woman who was bitten by a brown snake in her bed while sleeping.
Yeah, I did see this. That's terrifying.
Yeah. She's vulnerable. She's asleep, but she was flown to Toowoomba Hospital in a stable condition, so she's absolutely fine. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, brown snakes are terrifying because if you get bitten by one, you've only got a couple of hours to get that venom out.
Yeah, get the anecdote.
Yeah, it's like it's a pretty gruesome way as well.
Yeah, definitely, and very dangerous. But yeah,
Let's not go into the details.
No, I won't. But if you do want to know, just look it up.
Yeah, I mean, but it is common, isn't it? And you're seeing a lot more for whatever reason coming up in these news articles in the morning when we have a look, all these snake attacks.
Well, that's the other one that's come up that's really scary because it's very close to home in Adelaide. A snake was pulled from an ice dispenser in a fridge.
Oh,
I'm a snake. It's like there's nowhere to run, is there? You know, when tourists and, you know, people overseas, you know, there's the gag of having a snake in your toilet in Australia. Like, who thought it would be in the ice dispenser?
Yeah.
The place where you go for a nice, refreshing drink.
where you feel most safe.
Having a nice Coca-Cola with some ice and then a venomous, slippery snake comes out.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, this was a red-bellied black snake tangled up in the fridge, and basically they had to have the snake catchers here in Adelaide go and collect him and get rid of him. But how scary is that? No, thank you.
I've been seeing on Instagram a bit lately as well, people buying like big tubs of sprinkles, and they're like, what is that in my tub of sprinkles? Brand new, like break the seal off, open it. There's a snake in the big tub of sprinkles.
What do you mean, like hundreds and thousands?
Yeah. And like, somehow it's been packaged with a snake in it. I've seen like 3 of these videos.
Are these packages?
They're like jumbo. They're jumbo.
Snakes have a sweet tooth.
Loves fairy bread.
Fairy bread at a kid's party has a cobra on top. A cobra sandwich with the fairy bread. That is weird, isn't it? I would immediately think if a snake came out of my sprinkles that it's a fake toy snake someone's put in for a prank.
You know, it pops out, one of those poppers.
When did the snake attack Adelaide? I feel like most Aussies would have some sort of snake story. I remember when I was really little, my dad took me to his like work show. It was like, you know, bring your family, there's rides, there was a petting zoo and everything like that. And my dad, shout out to you, good morning, Phil, terrified of snakes. Like Indiana Jones level scared of snakes. And he's taken me over to the petting zoo, and the reptile lady there has pulled out this massive snake and she's got it around the neck and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's cool, isn't it, Dad? I've turned around, he's legged it. He's left me there at the petting zoo. He's legged it. The minute that snake came out, he ran as fast as he could.
God. Save yourself, son.
Every man for their own.
He's pushed you into the snake pen.
We did get a bunch of texts in here about snakes attacking around Adelaide. You want to give it a crack, Callum?
Yep, someone here said, wasn't me personally, but an ex-girlfriend of mine was attacked at the river. She just finished up on her kneeboard as was coasting into the shallows to get off when some type of snake was swimming across the water. It went into a striking position and tried to go her twice. She hit it with her kneeboard and it swam off rather aggressively.
That's terrifying.
It is like so weird when an animal has the perks of both worlds, one being a snake, also being in the water. They can take anything.
Also, an animal having any sort of animal having any kind of striking position.
Nah.
That's doesn't sit right with me.
We got this text in here. It says, my next door neighbour had 2 brown snakes in his pool. I guess they were just chilling.
There you go.
How about this one? We all knew this joke was going to pop in here. Someone has texted in, my wife got attacked by a snake last night. Wink, wink, lol.
All right, mate, on ya.
The dangerous one-eyed snake.
Lucky lady.
Someone said, does it count when they're pets? Been bitten a few times at feeding time. We have 6 pet snakes. Most gorgeous creatures ever.
Yeah, okay.
Pet snakes is something else. You know, I'm not sure about that. I think of
Yeah.
having a pet snake, there's
something else going
I
on
don't know
with you.
what's going on.
It is
You
crazy.
okay?
It is crazy though. I don't mind the idea of a pet snake, but I remember a mate had one, and just watching the feeding time is like horrific. Like the cold mice that you just like drop into the thing.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty awful to watch.
Yeah, nah, no good. Another text just came through here. I had a snake wrap around the tyre of my car. Issue was that's where I hide my keys. A weird place to put them. Put my hand in and had the fright of my life.
Hold on.
Yeah. We'll get through the text, then we'll revisit that. Put my hand up in and had the fright of my life. Peed my pants right there on the spot. Was with a girl I had only just started dating. Whole ordeal has scarred me.
No way.
Look, there's a simple thing. Why are you putting your keys in your tyre?
Yeah.
This texter needs to
hide
take a long, hard look at themselves, honestly.
Hide the keys in your diaper. It solves both issues.
All right. I get older. The Davo, Tom, and Callum podcast stays the same age.
They used to say never smile at a crocodile, but crocodiles all around the world have a new PR manager because study has come up that proves that they're not the evil monster that they're made out to be.
Really?
Apparently, they can be quite flirtatious. Yes, my friends.
This has put a whole new spin on how I look at crocodiles. I've always looked at them as, you know, an apex predator, a dinosaur, one of the only ones that didn't go extinct. You know, there's a reason they've lived this long. It's because they're stone cold killers. But, geez, if they're flirting with me, I might have to look at them differently.
Hey, do one of those crocodile tours, and they do have a glint in their eyes of they're going to rip you to shreds, but maybe they're just going to rip you to shreds.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Also makes me look at Steve Irwin a little differently,
Yeah,
doesn't
he
it?
had a bit of a fetish for it,
Rolling
didn't he?
around with a cross. No, this study has uncovered crocodiles.
Jesus. Put an Australian hero under the magnifying glass.
Reduce him down to a sex pest.
Was he a legend or was he a creep?
Just loves a bit of action with the crocodiles.
I've seen him roll around with them, and let me tell you, it looks sus to me. No. This study that we're talking about has uncovered crocodiles' love languages, but instead of physical touch or quality time, crocodiles show they're interested in a mate by hissing, blowing bubbles, and growling.
Jeez. You know, the blowing bubbles is quite playful, isn't it? It's really all of this is really the
Cheeky.
opposite of what you make out to be, you know, the crocodiles, the, you know, man-eating, threatening beasts they are.
I mean, the classic crocodile move they talk about is when they go into the death roll position, but maybe we've just, you know, miscommunicated that. Maybe we've given it the wrong name. Maybe it's not a death roll.
Maybe it's missionary.
Yeah.
End it now.
You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
Hey, Davo, yesterday, Callum and I were invited down to the Bent for the drags.
That is so much fun, but also one of the big days after the Top 92 party.
Look, I won't lie to you. It was tough getting up. I nearly had my shower in the morning. I nearly fell asleep standing up.
Oh, yeah, okay, not
Yeah.
good.
Tell you what, after the top 92, Tom and me going there, you know, obviously it's a lot hotter up there in that area. So beating sun, quite loud cars, not good for the headache.
Yeah.
I mean, you've come in today, Callum, quite crispy. You're
Yeah.
looking quite pink.
Yeah, it was, 6 hours. How long were we there? 5 hours or something in the beating sun?
Yeah, we got there around maybe about 12:30 and we left at about 7 at night.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah,
what
huge
a
day.
great
Big day.
day.
Yeah, but as we get there, you know, we're out checking out all the spots, watching some of the races, and then meet up with one of our mates there who works there. And we were lucky enough to get invited to walk down onto the track and have this unreal experience. And it's something that you just have to do. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah, if you get the chance to do it, definitely do, because you're about 10 metres away from where the cars launch off and they shoot off down the track. So you're very close. You have to chuck the big earmuff headphones on to silence everything.
Yeah, so we went down there. We saw the first few races go by, and we're like, "Wow, that's loud."
That's
you sort
pretty
of
loud, yeah.
feel the ground shake, and then they're like, "Wait till the nitros come out, the funny cars." Now these cars get up to 500 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's fast.
And there's
It's
kind of a...
bloody pretty quick.
There's kind of an aura when they come out as well, because you hear around the grapevine people talking about them. When the funny cars come out, there is like a silence around the arena because everyone's gearing up. People are running back from getting their food because this is like the main draw card. Everyone wants to see how loud and fast these ones go.
Just boy stuff.
Yeah, boys being boys.
So me and Callum are there, and of course, at first, as the nitro cars are getting rolled onto the track, Callum, being classic Callum, not really paying attention to what's going on around him, and he's looking away.
Yeah, right.
He's looking away, just sort of looking out into the distance, and then the nitro car fires up, and you just hear... Except imagine it's 10 times louder, and Callum has jumped out of his skin.
It's pretty huge.
I've never seen a man become more alive after the top 92.
It is. That was if you're thinking about hangover cures, what is have hair of the dog or water. This is it. Go and see the drag racing, and one of the funny cars boost off because it shoots something through you. You have to brace your legs, otherwise you feel like you're going to fall down.
Yeah,
it
was very much like you had to bend your knees a little bit to make sure, like, the power of them alone, it sort of throws you back a little bit. But it's an unreal experience. It's kind of hard to describe, but you just have to do it. If you get the opportunity, head down to the bend and watch one of these funny cars and get down onto that track to watch it take off.
However, me and Tom were talking about it, and we thought, what are those great things in life? What are those things that make you really happy and just, relax you, and what you enjoy, what exhilarates you? We thought, having a beer's up there.
Yeah.
Having a beer, cold beer on a nice warm day. We thought, geez, I reckon this drag racing, having the exhilaration of this power going through your body, could be better than a beer.
What's better than a beer, Adelaide?
Gosh, I mean, it's hard to think of anything because a
tough.
cold beer on a hot day is pretty damn good. But I reckon something like finding money in a pocket that you didn't realise that you had.
Yep.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That's great. Hey, what about when you've got an itch on your back and you can just reach it and you get the spot and you itch away? I think that's better than a beer.
That's it. Even cold shower on a hot day.
Oh,
brilliant.
What about when you wake up on a Saturday and you realise, like, your alarm goes off on a Saturday and you realise you don't have to get up?
How good.
Oh, that's good. Over to you, Adelaide. Somebody texted in here, when you roll over and check the clock and there's still another hour before your alarm goes off.
Oof, so good.
That is a good time.
Someone else has texted in here saying, if special cuddles aren't the best thing in your life, you're doing it wrong.
There you go.
Okay, someone's given it heaps.
Somebody has said, the funny cars were awesome, but being in a demolition derby is out of this world. Great stress relief and better than a beer.
There you go. Hey, let's head over to the phone lines right now. We've got Alex from Surrey Downs. Alex, mate, good morning to you. What's better than a beer?
Good morning, guys. Buying a brand new Lego set is definitely better than a beer.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So what Lego are you into? What's the big hitter right now? What are you working on?
Currently, I'm building the Home Alone house.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a
that's
bit
cool.
of fun, isn't it?
That's great.
Yep, so I don't drink, so anything Lego is better than a beer.
I love that. Well done, Alex.
Do you
Good on you, Alex.
get all the characters like Kevin McAllister and like the robbers and everything?
We'll take that as a yes.
Yeah. Good.
Hey, let's go to Cara in Glenelg North. Cara, what's better than a beer?
Beautiful hugs from my 3-year-old niece.
Hey,
That is
bit
sweet.
of a sentimental one.
I can relate to that, Cara. I actually looked after my niece yesterday and she gave me lots of cuddles. What a special moment that is.
Isn't it? And they come over to you just for no reason and just want to show you that they love you.
Oh,
Very cute.
beautiful.
Oh, that's a nice way to start the day. Thanks for getting involved as always, Cara. Hey, let's wrap things up here. Cooper in Adelaide Hills. Cooper, mate, what's better than a beer?
Look, I'm going to have to disagree with the last two callers and say 2 beers. They're both
beers.
those things.
So the cuddle from a relative
From a loved
one won't cut it. 2 beers tops that.
Now, forget the relatives. If you put a second beer in front of me, I'm taking that any day.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And we just got a text in. Someone text in saying, Lego nerd.
Oh, Davo, Tom and Callum podcast. Oh, Davo, Tom and Callum podcast.
I'll have what she's having.
Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
Some people are pretty ungrateful when it comes to the food in their area. You know, it's there's treasured little spots, little fast food chains that you really adore when you need it. You know, and one of those I'd say for us is KFC.
Jeez, KFC gets a very good spin on this show, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, famously, I purchased KFC on Afterpay one time, and I'm still paying that off.
That's a day you're happy to carry, though, because what an experience it would have been eating that KFC. I bet you can go right back into that moment and remember what it was like.
Every time that $1 comes out, you're like, oh, God, that was a good nugget.
$10, mate. It was a $40 fee.
Jeez. But, yeah, of course, KFC is one of our favourites. We do talk about it a lot, but some people are quite ungrateful, and it's coming from a suburb in Sydney, a really posh suburb.
Posh, I say.
Very well off. So it's in Mosman in Sydney.
Mosman, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
very posh. They've already had a Mexican restaurant food chain start up there that they all complained about.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's not the first thing they've complained about in terms of their fast food.
And Mosman is like fancy of fancy. It is in the very richest part of Sydney, pretty much.
They want like cafes there where an eggs on toast costs $30.
An avocado latte for 12,
yeah.
you know?
Big time. I mean, the average house to purchase is $2.875 million. That's the average house.
So what's going on with KFC?
So they've decided, right? A new KFC is going to open in Mosman, and they are outraged. Everyone in the suburb is outraged because they pretty well it comes down to the fact they think it will attract a bunch of ferals into the suburb, and that I guess they'll have the crook people of just people coming from town and having drinks and stuff and coming in late at night having KFC.
I smell a rat, guys. I smell a rat completely because I think this is all about image. It's all about these people, posh people, thinking that they can say, I don't want the 11 herbs and spices.
Yeah, that is correct.
I don't want the 11 herbs and spices. Yes, you do.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And you know they're secretly travelling to other suburbs to get their fix of the kernel already.
Of course.
Literally. Can you imagine the relationships that are going to break when, the wife finds out the husband's sneaking out of the 3-story home down the drain pipe just to get a burger?
Why has your $400 Prada shirt got a grease stain on it?
But if you had the choice between caviar and perfectly cooked KFC chips with the salt, yeah, there you go, baby.
Absolutely.
I will argue that whenever someone asks what would your last meal be if you're on death row, I do always lean towards KFC.
I got a burger feast last night. 4 burgers, 2 large chips, 1 regular popcorn chicken and 6 nuggets. I was living.
Did you eat all of that?
I ate a bit of it.
There's leftovers.
You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
Yeah, so Top 92 happened on the weekend. It was so much fun. Of course, us as the Brekkie Show got to count down the top 30 songs of 2023, and what a pleasure it certainly was.
It's an amazing experience to do.
It was no lie as well that the top 10 was probably one of the best top 10s I've seen in a while for the Top 92. It was great.
It was
back-to-back bangers. It was just so good.
2023 was a cracking year for music.
And I mean, that's just the thing. It did get to the top 10 and we did have a bit of a mosh going on. There was people all hanging around the stage. They were jumping. It was so much fun. And like a moth to a flame or a fly to shit, I took it upon myself to get on the mic and MC. That was literally it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny that, ages ago, we literally did a segment about preparing yourself to be an MC and you pretended to be one to see what you'd say. And so it's interesting that you're the real deal now. You're like the MC.
Well, I really enjoy it because it's so much fun and it's so silly. It's so silly.
A lot of fun.
And so I started emceeing and I think you guys sort of got really excited by it. You're like, oh, I want to have a go at this.
Yeah, it was sort of like, we've never done it before. And like, who knows if we'll ever do it again, right? So we're like, this might be one of the few opportunities we have to MC a nightclub-like environment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've said, yep, off you go, Tom. Here you go. Here's the mic. Now, Tom, this song was playing. You were getting up and about, my friend.
I love Peggy Goo, and this song is an absolute track. And my MCing style was, what do we say? Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit of that, but
was really it.
It wasn't just. It wasn't like that though. You know, you put a lot of gusto behind that.
There was plenty of mustard being flown about. I had to get extra condiments from the kitchen.
And what I really liked about it is that you did it. You felt a little bit embarrassed that you had given that heaps, but then there was something within you that felt so excited and compelled to go back to the mic and go, yeah!
It was just a singular, yeah. It was like you wanted to say a full sentence, but then your brain just stopped you. It was like, nah, reject it, like, just abort the mission.
The minute I said it, I knew, oh, God, what have I done? And I handed back the mic and hid behind the stage for about 30 seconds because I was like, I can't be seen. Not that I don't think anyone had any idea what just happened, the vibe that was going on, but I knew what had happened.
In all my time of going to town, I've never seen a MC coward behind the decks and just hide in the trenches.
And then Callum's gone, I need to have a go now as well. So we've given him the mic, and literally immediately as the lyrics are going, which is MC rule number 1, not to scream over the lyrics, Callum goes, and we grabbed the mic off him before he could get going.
And when you did that, because I was so excited to just jump on and do it, when you did that and you grabbed the mic, I got it back from you, and I reckon I held it for a minute, and then I was just like, no, I'm too nervous.
This is one of those things, because I know like a year ago I felt the same way with MCing. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do it and it'll be fine. But it's like...
It's an art. It's an art.
It's something to it.
It's like one of those classic things like, you know, making a coffee as a barista and then you get there and it's like all the pipes and the tubes and all the buttons. You're like, what the hell? Or doing the latte art or something, you know, something that people think is easy.
So boys, like obviously like I've been MCing for like a year now. I've been doing that every weekend at the nightclub. Despite being in town every single Saturday night, that was actually the first time Callum saw me MC. What did you reckon, mate?
Yeah, it was decent. It was pretty good. Yeah, I had a good time. You were very good at it.
Well, I mean, we've got to touch on off air just before the break. Callum did say, I think I was pretty good.
I said fairly good.
I said I nailed it.
I said I was fairly good.
I think I was better than you,
You
Davo.
misconstrued it to me. I said arrogant. I said I was fairly good at it, which I was.
Davo, I mean, I guess we have to know who was the better MC out of Callum or I. From a master of the art.
You know I got the crowd so hyped.
You didn't.
You weren't there. You saw it.
Oh, podcast my podcast. Oh, podcast my podcast. Oh, podcast my podcast.
Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
Yeah, we're talking about parking right here in the city, right? Now, if you're not by a U-Park, what do? You got to park on the street.
Yep.
Which is just such a hassle. You got to get one of those little ticket things. Yeah, if you don't have coins, it was a hassle. You can use cards now, but back in the day, using coins, oh, what a hassle that was.
When you say back in the day, it does make you sound like a boomer. It does actually make you sound like this is an old man complaining.
It's only a few years ago.
Back in the day, parking was free.
Yeah.
But
a nickel.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those pain in the butt things where you got to go do that on the street. And I hate the whole backtracking when you get out of the car and then go get your ticket and then you have to go back to your car. I'm done. I'm out of my car.
The worst is when you get like an hour and you're like, oh man, I need to get back to my car to put another ticket in. I'm nowhere near done here. And then you got to run back. And so many times I've been caught out running back. I've been 5-10 minutes late over my time and I've copped a ticket, right? And it's just the worst feeling. You feel pity your stomach. It like sinks. You see the ticket. You're like, oh, why me? Why? What have I done to deserve this $60 fine?
You're on your knees, looking up at God in the sky.
I mean, the $60 fee's bad enough, but when I look at that, I go, that's going to be a $180 fee because we know I'm not going to do the admin around getting it sorted.
Yeah, I mean, it's like whenever you see a parking inspector too, they're like sharks, aren't they? You see one, you're like, oh, geez, better not park around here.
Yeah.
They've definitely got some stereotypes around their personality parking inspectors. Everyone sort of feels that they're bad people.
Yes. I'd love to actually meet one that breaks the stereotype and they're really jolly and like to go out for a drink. That maybe they're really good.
I don't think that's a prerequisite.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't compute in my head that that'd ever be like that.
But look, the article's just come out about how much the Adelaide City Council has made in parking revenue fines in the 2022-2023 financial year. And it is a whopping, hold your horses for this one, $8.37 million.
Wow.
About 1/4 of that is myself, I'd say.
Yeah, that was one hefty fine. You left a little too late to pay.
I mean, out of that, more than $2.3 million in fines on the CBD's 10 busiest streets alone. And I got a bit of a list here to go through of the streets that just you got haggard on.
And I mean, just this is sort of a bit of a PSA as well. Don't risk it in these areas,
Do not
guys.
risk it. Stay away from these streets. You know, go a little bit further. Find yourself a U-Park. But first off, we have Pirie Street with a total of 3,849 fines handed out.
Wow.
That was $249,886 in total revenue.
It's huge, isn't it?
God,
just
that
for
would
Pirie
be,
Street.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just hanging out on Pirie Street, make $250K in a year. That's tax-free for the council.
Great, isn't it?
I mean, I don't think it goes straight into the parking inspector's pockets.
Let me
mate.
believe what I want to believe, okay?
It's just another reason to dislike them, that they're making their wealth and their mansions off this one street.
And the next street, Flinders Street, with a total of 3,794 fines handed out. That was $238,364.
Far out.
I mean, Hindmarsh Square, that was 3,235 fines. Halifax Street, 2,993 fines. Gooja Street, 2,821 fines. How are this many people getting fined in 1 year, you know?
Because the parking inspectors are lurking at every corner. They're ready to go.
But why are they always hiding? It's like they hide behind a corner, and the minute you park, they're out there. They're straight to the car to make sure you've got enough time on your ticket.
Behind the bins, in the sewer drains.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
they're
truffle
literally
pigs.
everywhere.
They
Truffle pigs.
I mean, I'm going to put it out there. Why can't we make parking free in the city? Right?
I mean,
Yeah, I
why
guess-
not? I've got nothing against it.
It'd be the utopia you want.
Yeah,
I think
right.
the parking inspectors would have something to say about it.
They'd probably be more jolly.
Yeah, they might be happier on the job. I don't know.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.